Hi, I'm Kathy with the Delafield Quilt Company. If you're new here, I'm a quilter and I love sharing the projects I'm working on and how I made them. For this video, I'm going to show you how to make 4 flying geese at a time with a bit of a twist, and that is using half square triangles. Making the flying geese this way is fast and there's very little waste. And the result of this quick method creates blocks that I think are useful in a lot of other quilt blocks, like the Missouri Star quilt block, which can use 4 of these half square triangle flying geese. I find that using this method is a real quick way to make the Missouri Star quilt block and flying geese in general that look a little bit more unique. And to help with this, I am putting a resource guide on our website at delafieldquiltco.com in case you want to make your own in different sizes. All right, let's get started with the tutorial. So to make these 4 at a time flying geese, you gotta first figure out what size you want it to be, and then you need to do a little bit of math. So for mine, I am making a finished size 3" by 6" flying geese. And the math that you need to do is 2-part. First, you need to figure out, well, what's your main square gonna be? And then what is the size that you're gonna need your half square triangles to be? So for the main square, you would take the width, so the 6 inches, plus 1 1/4 inches. And then for the half square triangles, you need to take your height plus 7/8 inch. So I'm making a 3" high flying geese. I need to add 7/8 inch. So I'm going to need my half square triangles to be 3 7/8 inch when they're done. So basically, to get your half square triangles to that size, you first need to figure out whatever method you want to use. I'm going to be using the 2 at a time half square triangle method. But you could use the 4 at a time, you could use 8 at a time, whatever you like to do. To figure out the size that you need, then you just need to figure out what is going to be the unfinished size that is closest to that 3 7/8 inch or whatever your math turned out to be for your particular size block. So I'm going to do my half square triangles so that they are unfinished 4 inches, finished would be 3 inches. So since I'm using that 2 at a time method, I cut my squares so that they are 4.5 inches in size. You just need 2 of each color that you're using. So to do the half square triangles, I'm just going to draw a line diagonally down the back of each of the gold pieces. And then I'm going to layer this on top of the pink squares and just pin those in place. And then I'm going to sew 1/4 inch on both sides of this pencil line that I drew earlier. Okay, I've got my line sewn on both sides of the pencil line. And now I'm just going to cut right on that pencil line to make 4 half square triangles. Okay, and now I'm just going to press the seam to one side, and I'm going to be consistent on which side I press it to so that these all have similar direction seams. Okay, now that I've got these pressed, I'm going to cut these down so they're the 3 7/8 inch squares that I need to make my 4 at a time flying geese. And to do that, I'm just going to make sure I'm starting with the clean edge. And the first time I'm cutting off the 2 sides here, I'm just using my diagonal 45-degree mark on my ruler to make sure I've got this really nice and straight. And again, I'm measuring this to 3 7/8 inch. And you're going to repeat that for the other 3 half square triangles. Right, now that I've got these all trimmed up, I'm going to draw some more lines. And I'm going to draw it so it crosses over the sewing line, and I'm just drawing it from one point to the next diagonally. And you're going to do that on all 4 of these half square triangles. So then I'm just taking my 7 1/4 inch square, taking my half square triangles, I'm laying them on top, and I want to line them up so that I have these 2 gold triangles touching each other. And that's important, the placement. If you want the colors to be consistent on your 4 geese, then you just need to make sure you line up the centers. If you don't care, then you can pretty much do it whatever direction you want. But I've got this lined up, and the pencil line is all in a nice straight line here. Then I'm just going to put a few pins to hold these in place. And now I'm just going to sew a 1/4 inch on both sides of the pencil line. Alright, so now that I've got this sewn a 1/4 inch on both sides of the line, I'm just going to cut right on that pencil line. And then I'm going to press the seam towards the triangles. Okay, now that I've got these pressed, we're going to take our last 2 half square triangles. And same as before, I'm just going to line them up. So I've got them in one corner here, and the pencil line is going right down the middle. And I did put the gold color next to the gold triangles. It's important to line those up if you want your blocks to be consistent with the color placement. And I'm just going to put a pin in place. And just like before, I'm going to sew a 1/4 inch along both sides of the pencil line. Okay, now I've got these sewn, and one more time I'm cutting on that pencil line. And when I'm done, I should have 4 flying geese. And now I just need to press these towards the triangle. And if my seams are all correct, these should measure pretty close to 6.5 inches by 3.5 inches unfinished. And again, when they're finished, they'll be 3 by 6 inches. And just like that, I have got 4 flying geese using half square triangles. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you haven't yet, please subscribe and visit us at DelafieldQuiltCo.com. Have a great day.